I'm going to introduce a new term now, and the term that I'm going to introduce to you is self-efficacy. What is self-efficacy in a nutshell? Self-efficacy is my belief about my belief or idea regarding how good I am in a particular topic or domain or activity. For example, how my belief about whether I'm good at maths or not, that's self-efficacy, right? So it's not like self-esteem, it's not this overall sense of how good I am or how worthy I am, but it's very domain specific, activity specific. How good am I at public speaking? That's my self-efficacy related to public speaking. Now, when I did my PhD in organizational behavior, and we were studying these, in organizational behavior, we're always looking at performance and the output and productivity and success, and what drives success and performance and output. And we have this whole host of variables, and if there's one variable that really stands out, that's self-efficacy. It's there in all the studies, and over and over we find self-efficacy shows a huge influence on success, on performance, and all of that. Yeah, even on happiness. Now what we see. So just link back to the Asian women experiment when we talked about maths, right? What was it that drove the performance of these students in maths? Their belief about how good they were at maths. And I'm not saying that determined the output, but it did influence the output, and that's the difference that we saw. So let's look at the question of how can we craft, influence, or manipulate, if you want to use that word, our own self-efficacy beliefs, related beliefs, in order to influence our performance in specific contexts. Now, let me give you a little example of what I mean. And so I'm going to quote the example of Sean Acker, who is a Harvard professor and a very, very good speaker. And he has actually written about this, about his own experience in his book. And what he writes is that when he speaks a lot, he's delivered talks all over the world, and when he goes onto the stage to deliver a new talk, he chooses to remember some of the beliefs. Remember the fact that he's very good at connecting, reading audience, he's good at making a connection with people. And when he chooses and he remembers to remind himself of these strengths that he has related to public speaking, he's noticed that there's a difference in the quality of the talks. That's a talk, and it comes out much better than times when he's falls into the trap of thinking about what are some of not his strengths in public speaking, and which he identifies as his need to sort of sometimes he forgets what he has to say, remember things, or to pace around incessantly and stuff like that. So what are we saying here? So Sean has beliefs, his ideas, his associations about himself related to certain public speaking, but he has 4 of them, right? So one of them is that he connects with audience very well. Another of them is that he can really read the audience and therefore know how to tune himself. Another belief, and these 2 are empowering beliefs. What about the other 2 beliefs? One belief that he has about himself is that he tends to forget what he had scripted. Another belief that he has is that he tends to walk around and too much. And these 2 are not empowering beliefs. So just before a new talk, he chooses to remind himself about the empowering beliefs and not think about the other ones, the dysfunctional ones. He's not denying that they exist, but he's just choosing not to remember them at the same time. So remember what we talked about memory, crafting, right? So there are all these associations, and we can choose what we want to pull out and keep in our mind salient at the time of the function. So like the Asian women, just because they're thinking of themselves as Asians means they're not denying the fact that they're women. That's there, but that's lurking behind. That's just not prominent. So now if I'm here talking to you, I'm thinking of myself as a professor and reminding myself that I'm a professor, but it doesn't mean that I've forgotten I'm a yoga teacher. It doesn't mean that I've forgotten I'm a mother, but I'm not acting out, the behavior that I act out when I'm in those domains. So that's really what we're doing. So can we craft and build our self-efficacy? Absolutely. And there's something that I really want to point out here, which is we are not, it is, although theoretically, it is possible to build a belief where there is no strength, right? So let's say I can just come, if I sort of tried this the first time I went surfing, and I've never surfed before, so I had nothing to play around with, right? I tried to sort of build this idea and belief that I'm going to be a great surfer and stuff like that. So we can build affirmations and beliefs in vacuum. You might want to ask yourself why you want to do it, whether you want to do it, is it lying, is it not? In my view, it's not lying, because all you're building is an affirmation and it is a creative construction of the world. But if you have issues about that, you don't have to do that. You can take a part of the truth and build it further. So if you already know that you have an existing strength, you can actually affirm that and reaffirm that and make it bigger and bigger and bigger, and it will get stronger and stronger through the process of self-fulfilling prophecy. So that is really an easy route to follow. It's also a safe route to follow, because sometimes what happens if we try to rehearse and cultivate an affirmation where there is no seed of experience already there within us, what sometimes happens is our own mind, our own voice of judgment comes in with, don't fool yourself, oh no, that's not true, how can that be true, oh that's so silly, oh no, that doesn't make sense. And then, yes, we are affirming something, but we're also in the process having all these other associations coming, oh that doesn't make sense. So let's say I have never run a marathon. I mean, suppose I'm a person who's never run a marathon. I actually have never run. And suppose I'm someone who doesn't run very regularly, I haven't trained, and I want to affirm that I can run 40 kilometers tomorrow at a stretch. So I'm trying to affirm that, but inside me, there are other voices. Oh, Ramya, don't fool yourself. How silly, how ridiculous. Really? Is that possible? No, that's not true. No way you can do that. And these are also beliefs, these are also associations, and these will also drive my behavior. So can you see? So when we try to affirm something that's completely bizarre or something that we don't have a seed of conviction in us, it can be quite difficult. If you can really fool yourself into believing it, probably you could actually do much better. But it doesn't work most of the time, because we have the other voices that come up as well. So what's a safe way to affirm? Build on the strengths that are already there, because then there is no voice. You have the experience. Hey, I am good at this, I know this, and I'm good at these elements. Yeah, the way Sean Acker says, I am good at connecting people. He knows that from past experience. So when he affirms to himself, I'm good at connecting people, there's no voice that's saying, no, you're not. Right? And then he can build that, and then he has one more success, he connects again, and then you build that, and then you connect again, and you have more success, more data, you affirm it. The belief gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Now, let's look at the antithesis. Suppose I try to affirm something that I absolutely don't know is not true. That can actually backfire sometimes, right? So suppose I know, for example, that let's say I know that I am not good at teamwork, for example, and I have actually someone who's not good at teamwork. And I just know this through a lot of experience. And I'm trying to affirm myself, I'm good at teamwork, I'm a team player. Every time I'm saying I'm a team player, another voice is raising up, no you're not, remember that time when you're not, no you're not. So I'm trying to say I'm a team player, and I'm also pulling up, no you're not. These are also getting affirmed. Neurons that why do we get a fire together? I'm actually activating these by activating this. So so just that warning that we need to be really careful when we're playing in this realm, and that's possibly one reason why affirmations sometimes backfire. A lot of people think affirmations don't work. Well, they do work, but you just have to use it knowing how the mind works. Let me give you another example of why we need to be careful. So a lot of people use this, let's say you want to use affirmations for weight loss, okay? And you start using an affirmation, I want to be thin, I want to be thin. So there's a problem with this affirmation, or I want to succeed. Because ingrained in that sentence is that I want to. So that's what you're affirming. You're affirming the wanting as well. You're not affirming the fact that you're thin, right? So you'll always be in that wanting state. So we need to be careful with affirmations. Again, the best place to learn about affirmations to me is by looking at advertisements, because those people, and sort of, it's something that deeply saddens me that a lot of this science is being used to sell us stuff. A lot of the science is being used by advertisers and marketing more than it is being used by people in organizational behavior or people in any other realm, in any other part of business or management, or in schools where it can be really used in education. But they're doing a really good job of using it. So yeah, you can take cues from there, but use them wisely.